I built a house in Japan, and this is my story. Hi guys, my name is Aito Japan, and welcome to my channel. In this channel, I will be talking about my journey when I built a house in Japan. It will sort of be like a guide for people who are interested in building a house in Japan. As it's not a very straightforward process, there's a lot of things to do. I also hope that it would be some kind of diary for my future self, just in case I want to build another house again in the future. It will contain all my successes, all my regrets, and everything I learned in the entire process. So this idea has been in the back of my head for the longest time. Surprisingly, moving into a new house brings with itself a whole new set of responsibilities, and until now I was a bit preoccupied. I was able to finish all of those, and now here I am starting my YouTube channel. I hope this channel would be useful for everybody. It would probably contain a lot of things I wish I knew from when I was first starting, so I hope you enjoy. So this video will sort of be like a preview of the entire channel, and to do that, I divided my entire journey into 6 simple steps. Step 1. Find a housemaker. So in order to find a housemaker, the first thing you need to do would be to go to one of those model houses. There would usually be this block of land, several companies put their model houses, and you can go to all of them in one go. Inside, you'll probably get a salesman trying to convince you to go get a house with them. Go to as many housemakers as possible to see different kinds of designs that are available. In Japan, when building a house, I would say there are 3 types. So for the first type, we have a custom made-to-order house. Depending on the maker, you would probably have a lot of freedom to pick what design you want, a certain kind of door, have a certain kind of roof, for example. There's a lot of things you can pick and they will do it for you. So we usually have fully custom houses or semi-custom houses, and it will differ depending on which housemaker you pick. The second type, low-cost housing. As the name suggests, these houses usually does not provide much customization, are not as expensive, but you wouldn't have much freedom in terms of design. Companies will give you choices and you will pick which design you like the best, and then after that they build the house for you. Third, in Japanese we call them tateuri, which are readily built houses that are available for sale. So basically these houses are new, a developer bought a huge chunk of land, put a bunch of houses there, and then they sell them. While it's technically not building a house, it's still new. But basically the house is there, it's ready, and it's the fastest way you can buy a brand new house. I picked number 1, custom, and under that I went with fully custom. As to why, I would be explaining in a different video, but basically I did not want to pick a cookie cutter design. I wanted something unique, and that's how I went with fully custom. Now whether or not that was a good idea remains to be seen, but right now I'm pretty satisfied. So regardless of whichever type of housemaker you picked, you probably have to pick between local or big company. For myself, I picked local just because I wanted to support a company in Kansai, and I also wanted it to be a little bit cheaper. Of course, picking a local builder doesn't automatically mean it's cheaper. It will depend on your local company, especially if they can procure materials from wherever you live. Remember, the closer it is, probably the more cheaper it would be. In the end, I probably save a couple million yen by going local builder, and I was able to add a few more things that I wouldn't have gotten if I went with a big name builder. Now, are big housemakers bad? Not really. It will always depend on what you want to do. For myself, I wanted to be fully custom, so I went with a local builder. Another thing when you're looking for housemakers is that you probably want to be able to speak Japanese. If you can't speak Japanese, it will be hard to talk to the designer, person in charge, or everybody involved in the process. Especially with local builders, they probably would have 0 English support. If you pick a local builder, you will have to have your Japanese up to speed. Step 2. Find land, buy said land. So for most people who work with a housemaker, they would probably help you find land. But some people prefer to do it alone. Personally, I wanted help, so I asked the housemaker to help me find land, and that's how I did it. Finding land in Japan is not simple. Most of the good land is probably already taken, and whichever is available is probably not as convenient or very expensive. Now, the best piece of advice for people looking for land in Japan, if you feel like this is the land that you want, then just go ahead and do it, because somehow someone might come in and swoop that place away. So from start to finish, it took around 2 months to find land, and then around like a couple more months to finalize the deal, but I was able to do that with the help of the housemaker. And I have this view every night. Step 3. Get approved for a mortgage and sign the contract with the housemaker. Getting approved for a mortgage is probably the most difficult part you will ever have if you're a foreigner in Japan. If you're a foreigner and you do not have permanent residency, or you're not a citizen or a spouse visa, if you don't have some sort of long-term visa, you would probably not be approved for a mortgage. There are banks that specialize in helping foreigners, but they give you a much higher rate compared to what they give Japanese citizens. Whether or not that works for you and your family is totally up to you. Personally, for me, I am a naturalized Japanese citizen. I do not have my previous country's citizenship anymore, but when I was looking for a mortgage, I was still my previous country's citizen. At that time, no other bank would lend a year, so I had to go with a bank with an unusually high rate. And you might be thinking, why did you do something stupid and gave yourself a very high rate? The reason is, at that time, the yen was weakening rapidly. I mean, even now it's still weak. Food product prices went up, rice went up, even doubled. So I believe that building materials, concrete, timber, whatever is needed, would probably go up as well. I made a difficult decision to go ahead with that bank, even if they gave me an unfavorable rate. There is a way to refinance in the future, especially now that I'm a Japanese citizen. I would be talking about that in a different video. At this point, after negotiations and after signing your name 100 times in several contracts, several papers, you're probably ready to move on to step 4, which is planning with your housemaker. Depending on which type of housemaker you chose, this could either take a couple of days to a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Because my house was fully custom, it took around 6 months to finish everything. So if you went with a fully custom house, you would probably have designed a lot of things that you probably never even thought about. And that's what makes it very, very fun. So the reason why it differs from housemaker to housemaker is simply because of what you can do. For some types of housemakers, like low cost or semi-custom, probably don't have that much freedom of design. So you probably have some patterns to pick, and once you pick those patterns, it's finished. Again, if you go for a fully custom house, you have to basically decide everything, so it will take much longer than that. So depending on when you want to move in, if you really need a house right away, it might be good to go with low cost or something that's already ready or easy to pick. So once everything is finished, you'll probably have to sign a bunch of documents that you're okay with this design, and then after that, the company moves on to the next step. Step 5. Let the housemaker build your house. On this step, you probably don't have to do anything, but wait. You're welcome to go to the house, which I recommend at least once a week, to see the progress of the house. Again, if your house is fully custom, it will take a long time to build. While I was building my house, our neighbor also was building their house. So our neighbor picked a semi-custom house, as opposed to me picking up fully custom. Our house started construction first, and like a few weeks after that, they started construction in theirs. They finished 3 months earlier than we did. And it's not because our company is bad. It's not because the company is better. It's mostly because the more custom it is, the more time it will take, and it's that simple. While waiting for the house to finish building, you probably go ahead and look for furniture, lights, fixtures, whatever else you want to put in your house. Most of these things you won't be able to actually put in the house until after the construction finishes. Some of them you can, some of them you cannot, but it's important to check with your housemaker what you can do. As for our house, I have the ceiling fan. I bought this by myself. I gave it to the housemaker and they put it up for me. Step 6. Exterior, furniture, insurance, buying things you need for your new house, and finally moving in. So after the house is finished, you will probably start to do a lot of things to actually start moving in. You would have insurance, probably have to finalize things with your mortgage, probably buy furniture, and you have to hire an exterior company to do your exterior. Now, with exterior companies, you usually can ask the housemaker to do it, but it might be a little bit more expensive just because they specialize in houses. Us, instead of going with our housemaker, we went with an outside exterior developer. If you go with an outside exterior company, you probably will have to pay them in cash. The reason for this is you can't use 2 companies for a single mortgage. You probably have to pay them out of pocket. While it might be cheaper in the long run, if you don't have a lot of money saved up, it will probably be hard to pick this option. But I recommend it because in the long run, you will be saving a lot more money. So from start to finish, starting from when I first made contact with the housemaker until when I was able to post with my wife in front of our house with this big key, it took around 2 years. And it was a really, really long journey. We made a lot of mistakes, and we also were able to learn a lot of things along the way. So I hope this channel would be able to record all of that and be able to help other people in the future. Thank you very much for sticking all the way until until the end. I know it's probably rough for a first video. I haven't done this ever. But if you find my content very helpful, I hope you leave a comment or you can like and subscribe so I can make more content like this. Thank you very much. This was Aya to Japan. Hope to see you in the next video.